Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Do Bonsai. I'm Scott Winard. We're towards the end of a long day today. We're at about 8 o'clock in the evening. The sun's still out and glaring at us. So let's just have a quick look around the garden before we go in and do some updates of the COVID Jade. So the salad and vegetable boxes are absolutely full of good growth. Everything you could want in there. There's beetroot, there's chard, there's lettuce, all sorts of good healthy stuff. Unfortunately the broccoli went to seed, but that'll be, we'll try again next year with that. And the carrots are coming up well. It'll be interesting to see how well they do in that soil and how long they go down. What are you looking at that for? What's this here?
Beetroot and peas.
Here we've got beetroot and some peas. The peas don't last very long because as they grow they get picked off and munched. And then we've got the courgette there that the flowers are through. We've got the runner beans going nicely, and somewhere around the back here, what is it? Pumpkin.
Here, look. Oh. See that? That's pumpkin.
This one here is pumpkin, and that's growing out from under there really nicely. Hi Polly. Hello Thumbcat. Inside Kay's greenhouse we've got the tomatoes, which have grown really strong. They've been trimmed back so all the energy can go into the tomatoes. And then across here,
cucumbers.
We've got cucumbers, and as you can see they're coming in, they're doing nicely. And then the vine is growing up and putting out some nice growth. Here we've got the tumbler tomatoes. They're doing really well. There's lots on here that's growing and doing really well. So we'll be looking forward to some nice tomatoes off of those. And then if we go across the garden, we've got a nice little surprise.
When Frog's interested in green fly, look. Look at him looking at it. Try not to disturb.
So in here we have some tadpoles, and they've turned into some little froglets. You see them jumping around in there. They're interested in the green fly. You can see it ready to pounce on that if we hang around and see whether it does it. You can see two little froglets there, one just on the edge and one eyeing up the fly on that bit of greenery. We'll just come away and have a look at the tadpoles that are swimming around inside, just starting to get their back legs. But this little fella here is really interested in the fly. He's just taking his time, ready to pounce and get the fly. He's going. The fly is probably nearly as big as him. He's so small, but perfectly formed little froglet. I think we'll leave him to it. As we pulled away, he decided to have it, and you can see there he's munching away on it, wiping his mouth. What a happy little froglet. Pete's on form, inspecting the premises, making sure that everything is in order. Pete, does everything appear to be in order? Are we good to go in and have a look at these jade trees? Yep. Come on then. Right, so we've made it into the garage. We will take a look at the COVID Jades to see how they're getting on. But a couple of things first. I just want to bring you some information and things that have worked well for me. First of all, best granddad, quick slurp of tea. I suffer absolutely terribly with hay fever. The last couple of years it's not bothered me too much, but this year it's absolutely got to me. My eyes have been streaming, my nose has been sore, I've been sneezing, you know, all the time. People who are out there that suffer with hay fever will know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know, it can get really bad, and for other people it gets extremely bad. But somebody once told me that one of the best things to cure hay fever is eat some local honey. Now, I don't like honey really, but I went out and got, again this year, like I did a couple of years ago, some local honey. Make sure it is local though, because if it's bees from 50 miles away, that pollen isn't going up your nose, so this isn't going to do you any good. So if you can find a local bee source, some honey source from a local, either a local keeper or somebody who just stocks some local honey, get the honey, jump straight in, whether you like it or not. A good spoonful. And down the hatch. I think this jar cost something like £15, local honey. Knowing that it's helped me with my hay fever this year, I would have paid £150 for that jar with how I felt at the time. So £15, you might think, oh, it's quite expensive. If it takes away that horrible sneezing and burning eyes and itchiness and, you know, all the pain and suffering that you go through, it's worth every single penny. Might not like if you don't like it, it's, you know, it's not great fun, but I have a spoonful of that every day and my hay fever is under control. So that's hay fever and honey out of the way. The next thing is good deeds, doing a good deed, and you know, sometimes it pays off to actually do a good deed. Now, earlier on today I was at work and we got a phone call in about somebody with a smoke detector that they couldn't stop beeping, and we don't really do residential stuff, and it was like, okay, you know, that's fine, and they put the phone down and went away. I'd heard the call come in, and fortunately the lady rang back and I answered the phone, and she said, I know you don't do residential things, but would you recommend anybody? I said, well, you've said you're local to us, so give me your address and I'll see what I can sort. Turned out they were literally round the corner from the office. So about 15-20 minutes after that, I jumped in my car, went round the corner, knocked on the lady's door, and I could hear the smoke detector chirping in the background. Went in, it took me 5 minutes to fix. I was there for 30-45 minutes, something like that. We were in there ages. The Mr and Mrs Sunderland, we had a really good conversation, a really good chat. Two absolutely wonderful people, a pleasure to meet them. Talked about all sorts of things, and the subject of bonsai came up, to which Mr Sunderland said, come with me, I used to do bonsai, and he promptly produced a bag. I've had a quick look in the bag, but I'm not fully sure what's in here. So I know there's some pots. So we've got a nice creamy coloured pot there, another round one, a brownie colour, another round one, a nice glazed blue colour. There's a few things on top here, some rectangular pots, a blue one, a little greeny colour one that just needs a little bit of clean up, a couple more pots, a nice jadey green colour, that'll do nice with a nice jade in there, a lovely little Japanese looking thing with lots of different colours on, that's really nice, I like that, that'll get a nice little tree in there. A cascade style pot, and it just keeps coming. a green rectangular pot that looks nice. A pot that looks like somebody made it, but then it might just be the condition of it. A little clean up and it will look lovely. A little square creamy coloured pot, that's very nice. That'd get a nice tree in there. An oval dish pot, just needs a little clean up. That's very nice. Amazing. All for changing a battery in a smoke detector. One little good deed. There's a bag here that's got some wire and some soil particles in there. Oh, there's some screens in there. Put that on the shelf there. We're still going. A bag of wire, all sorts of wire there. And then we've got another bag of soil, 2.5 kilograms of grit sand. So we've got some grit sand in there as well. What a haul! Fantastic! All for doing somebody a little favour. Thank you, Mr and Mrs Sunderland. That's fantastic. We'll just have a quick look into this bag, see what's in here, because there's another pot, yet another one. And it's one of the little blue glazed pots again. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let's get this cleaned away and carry on with looking at these jades that we came up to look at. So, here we are with the pie pot COVID jade. And as you will see from when we had it last time, all of this is new growth. We only had the stump left, this part. All this new growth here has all come out in the last 2 months. We had the one leggy branch disappearing up the side there, but all this really good nice new growth has come out and is really thick and lush and nice big thick chunky leaves, doing really well. The longer branches at the top that we left on, we're going to probably let these grow for about another month. So end of July, it's now the 30th of June, so end of July we'll come back at these and we'll trim these back and get some ramification. You can see there's some lower leaves coming out on the branches on those nodes. That's going to happen if we trim it back anyway. So we'll just allow it to grow a bit more, let these thicken up, and then we can trim all these back, bring in a nice, canopy into that tree, and then see, try and keep it nice and compact. And then these lower branches coming off the thicker trunks will allow them to grow, to take over the trunk. So we'll end up with some big shoots off that, and then when they're big enough we'll cut them back again also. It's a long-term recovery, but I think you agree that in the last 2 months from the pie pot jade that we had to where it is now is such a marked change. It's absolutely fantastic. I'll try to insert a clip of what it looked like. And as you can see, the difference between then and now is quite remarkable. And looked after, these jades will do really well, and they don't take much looking after, to be fair. A little bit of care, a little bit of putting them in the right place, the right temperatures, and they will grow thick and lush like these. So let's get the large COVID jade. So I've had to take a bit more of a step back with this one. This is the side branch, the large side branch of the main tree that was pulled away from and separated from the main tree. And as you can see, it's got lots of leaves grown in, but it does appear that it's been growing one way, so we need to get it outside and try and get the branches. It does appear that it's been growing in a one lopsided fashion, so we'll need to get it outside now and start training it up and getting the branches to be more radial and more going out in different directions. At the moment it all seems to be leaning over to this one side. It may have already been quite a bit like that. We'll have to review the footage of previous you know, when we put it into this brown pot, but there's a lot of new foliage on this. Again, I'll try and put a little snippet of what it looked like when we put it into this pot for its rescue. But it really has put on a lot of really nice, lovely green growth and done really nicely. So we're going to get it outside now. Now it's really nice, bright and summer, and see if we can get the branches growing more, you know, radially and outwards rather than all leaning across to one side. We'll try and straighten those out and get them into a position that we like. But all in all, it's recovering really well. Finally, we've got the main trunk of the COVID Jade, which the bits that have shriveled up have gone really hard. There's one right in the middle here that it's gone really hard, but it's still attached to that main trunk. But we ended up taking the main trunks all the way back to only this high, and we have again this one long leggy branch going up the side. We've got some really nice root action down here, which we'll get a look at in a month's time when we really start doing some additional work. The shriveled up root in the middle, sorry, the shriveled up trunk in the middle actually has some green growth coming off it. That's quite amazing, really. But you'll see there, look, it's all shriveled up away from the main trunk, and that really should have fell off, but it's still hardened on to the main trunk, so it hasn't gone anywhere, and it's just about fine. But all this new growth is all coming off the main trunks nicely from single points. We'll wait for them to really grow and grow and grow and give us some nice thick trunks to work with, and then we can cut it back and start refining it. But again, as with the other two, it's going to be a long process for these, the recovery. Growing these branches out and trimming them back, growing them out and trimming them back. The Jades do grow well, they grow quickly, but even the Jades have got the limitations of how quickly they can grow. So that's it for the COVID Jade update. There are lots of other Jades here at Let's Do Bonsai, and I must start getting rid of them again. So I do have some addresses of people that were wanting some cuttings and some jade trees from me. So I am going to start taking these clumps apart and potting them into single pots and being able to send them out. Obviously there's still the competition for the bonsai tools that I use that's ongoing. That's going to run until the end of July, I believe, around about the 26th or something. So there's still plenty of time to get entered into that competition. There'll be a link for that again down below. And anybody who wins a set of tools, I'll try and stick a jade tree in. As you can see, a lot of these trees have got some really nice trunks and growth, all of various different sizes and progressions. They're all going to go outside. There's a few more that I've just put to one side. I'll show you a couple more. So there's a little clump set in here which I'll probably look to separate and send out to people. There's a clump setting here, which, I mean, they all need repotting anyway. They all need sorting out. Some of them are in really good condition. Some of them need a bit of love and care attention, and I'll do as much of that as possible as I pot them to give them away. But there are too many of them, and they're taking up space for the bonsai trees that I want to get on with. I don't want to throw them away. I don't want to chuck them away. Kay said you maybe should sell some, so maybe I can put an honesty box outside and let people buy them, and then put the money that comes from that into the channel and into the bonsai trees. But it's not always been about the money for me. It's been about the trees, and whenever I've given them to you guys out there, there's been, I don't ask for anything. I never have done, and I'll gladly send them to people that are going to want them and look after them. So again, send an email maybe to scott@letsdobonsai.co.uk. I'll put that email below, and let me have an address of where to send to, and I can send you a jade potted up. Very easy to do it in the UK. I can send it in the UK fine. Sending them abroad is proving to be more and more difficult and quite expensive as well, but I will do it if I can. That's no problem. And again, if anybody wins, or the people that do win the tools, I'll look to send a jade with it as well, a grown by Let's Do Bonsai jade. So that's it for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make the best of the rest of your day. If you go outside, be kind to each other, animals and the planet. And as always, I'll see you again in the next one.